Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the What's New with T4 version 8. I'm John Palmer from the Program Management Office in Information Technical Services, and it's my job today to demystify the new version of T4 for everybody who's logged on today. Thanks for being here. Now, I had a look at the DAT booking system sign up before we got started this morning. Well, that's a long list of the usual suspects. Hopefully, all of you guys will find this a productive use of your time. As we take you through on T4. Now, by and large, the new version of T4 isn't that much different from the old version. It looks different, colors are different, one or two things have moved to different places, there's a couple of things where the names have changed, and there's a couple of features that have been extended. I don't think most of you will find it too difficult to transition from the old version to the new version. One thing that I can't tell you very much about today is, will there be any new features? Well, the answer to that is not at this stage. There may be new major features down the line, but as yet it's to be decided what they could be, and they would have to be tested to see if they were suitable for the university before going live with them. If anything like that does come along down the line, then it'll all be flagged up to you, and there'll be some sort of support event like this to make sure that everybody's comfortable with a new feature. But you don't have to worry too much, it's not that bad. What we're going to talk about today, well, first of all, we're going to have a quick look at the interface because it does look rather different from what you've used to before. You'll recognize the site structure instantly, but it has been changed around a little bit. After that, we'll have a quick look at section management and content management. These things are largely very similar to what you're used to. And then finally, we'll have a look at the media library, create some new pages, and we'll finish up with the Q&A at the end of the session. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to move on to T4. Drum roll. Okay, and here it is. This is the login screen for T4 version 8. Yeah, of course it looks a bit different. I'm going to log in as a training user today. So when I hit login here, there it is. There's the site structure. You'll recognize it instantly if you're a T4 user. Yes, it does look a little bit different. I've got to say it looks a lot nicer than the old one did. But there's a few things that have been moved around. To start with, up at the top, in the corner up here at the top right, this is still where profile and logout is. It'll still kick you off after about half an hour. But one thing I really like about the new version of T4 is this. I'm just going to go into a section here, this Skype for Business section. If I go in there, if I want to get back to the site structure, in the old days you would click on content and site structure. The site structure gets its own button up here now. And that's a neat feature. It's a really simple, straightforward feature. But there's no landing screen anymore. You just go straight into T4 and you're straight onto the site structure. I like that button. I think that's great. And right beside that, there's this bookmarks button as well. And this is really useful too. We'll go into the Skype for Business one again. And I'll show you all this in more detail in a minute. And I'm going to pick a piece of content here. And I can mark this as a favorite. See the little flag up there on the top right where the mouse is? Up here. And as soon as I've added it to that, if I go back to the site structure, hit my bookmarks, there's that Skype for Business page title, piece of content. So I click on that, it takes me straight to it. That's really good. If you don't want something to be a bookmark anymore, you just hit the bookmark button and it's gone and it will disappear from the list up at the top. I like that too. See, it's blank now. Traffic lights are still here. Traffic lights still did what they always did, but you can switch them off now if you really want to. I think I'd probably leave them on, but it's your personal choices. You can toggle them on or off. Now, a big question would be, how do I get to the media library? Because you used to go to the button up at the top. Well, it's over here now. You can see content here over on the left, up at the top. There's the media library there. We'll be talking about that in detail later on. If you were one of the people who like to use the approved content list, where you could approve multiple pieces of content at the same time, that's in here as well. And incidentally, you can make this panel over here bigger or smaller. And if you make it smaller, you just mouse over, and there's the media library, and there's the content list. I'm going to leave it out for now. Yeah, it's really good. I must say, I like it. It's got a lot going for it, and it's certainly easier on the eye than the old version was. Okay, so that's really all I've got to say about the interface. Next thing we're going to talk about are the sections. Well, the sections they're still the same thing. They're still the same thing. They still give the page its name in that people see when they'll get to that page on the website, and they still give the page its position in the hierarchy of pages, and that nothing has changed there. And you can still drag and drop them to new locations. Nothing's changed there either. I don't want to do that. Okay. What has changed is that the section menu has gone and it's been replaced by the Actions button. And in a major breakthrough for T4, instead of having a button that you just put the mouse over and didn't have to click on, which always meant it was easy to hit the wrong one, you actually have to click on this button now. Well done, T4. So hit the Actions button, you can create sections, edit them. This is where preview lives. You can move it, you can duplicate it, you can delete it. More or less exactly the same as it was before. And it's also got content options down here for creating, editing and deleting content, and you can also bookmark from here as well. So that really hasn't changed very much, it's just its name's changed. To edit the section, you can go to Actions, into Edit Section. My personal preference is just to click on the link here and it takes you into the section area. And again, looks very similar to what it looked like before. I'm going to shrink this, okay, give me a bit more space to work with. Nothing here has really changed. If you're an old templates user, that means if you work for the sections in professional service, the departments in professional service that still use services that still use the old templates, show navigation is important. The rest of you guys can ignore that, but nothing has changed here. This is exactly the same as it was before. On the Content tab, here's all the pieces of content listed up. It's deliberately set up to show you the colors of the different statuses, etc., etc. We'll come back to the content in more detail later on, but that's exactly the same. Page layouts you don't need to worry about. Now, if, for example, you had subsections, I'm just going to go back to the site structure and go into IT training courses. You can see it's got a list of subsections here. IT training courses. If you wanted to control the order that these appear in, you can come to the More button here, and there's where subsections is, and they come in here. Now, this is one of the features that has changed in T4, and just like with the older version, you've got the automatic ordering option up here, and you can decide the order these are going to be displayed in. Now, these are important if you are using the old templates. I'm just going to switch to an old template page here from Internal Audit. This is important. Over here in T4, the order that you see here determines the order you get here. Now, I'm going to explain this in more detail when we look at content later on, because the functionality of automatic ordering and how all these arrows work and what they do is exactly the same for content, and that applies to everybody because that's on all web pages, whereas this only applies to old template users. But nevertheless, old template users, your subsections are controlled in here. For the rest of you, metadata, exactly where it always was. Author, description, keywords, subject, and title. They haven't changed, they're in the same place. Okay, back to the site structure. Last thing I want to mention over here in the Actions button, duplicate branch. If I hit that, it's identical to what it was before. You can duplicate and ignore content, or duplicate content, or you can duplicate and mirror all your content. I'd be careful with that one if I was you. That seems to be an awful lot of content to duplicate, but nevertheless, the feature is identical to what it was before. Now, that is all I have to say on the subject of sections for today. So the next thing I'm going to look at is content from the site structure. Now, as I mentioned before, on the Actions button over here, you've got a couple of few options down here, create, edit, and delete. But let's just go into the section and go to the Content tab. And here we are here looking at our content. Now, by and large, this is very similar to what it was before. Keep hearing me say that, I'm getting boring. If I hit the Actions button here, Content Actions button, you can edit, you can preview, mirror, duplicate, move, history, lock, and lock to the bottom. That's something that the old version didn't have. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But mostly that button does the same as it did before. If you want to add new content, here's the Create Content button up here. And if I hit that, it takes me into here, which is where the list of templates live. Now, I'm on a training system at the minute. The templates I have available in here aren't necessarily the same that you will see in the live system. It looks a bit different, but this has actually got some pretty good features. You can see down here at the bottom right, there's got 1, 2, 3 pages of content templates to pick from. If I was looking for the master templates, I can use this filter thing up here at the right, and I quite like this. If I type on that master, it just filters my entire list just to show me the master templates. Or if I was interested in discovery templates, oops, typo. that filters it just to show the discovery templates. Now that I think is actually rather useful. So if I was to pick one and create it, I'll just grab one there. Templates look pretty much like what you're used to. We're going to create a new page later on in this, so I shall do that in more detail at that stage. I'm just going to go back to site structure and then back into dynamic personal distribution lists and back to the content tab. So there is a thing here which really has changed, right? And it's to do with automatic ordering and how you sort out the page. Automatic ordering is currently off, so you can manually change the position of your pieces of content. You do that using these widgets here. So this bus card one at the top, I don't want it at the top, I want it down underneath that. So you just drag and drop things. And it's easier than it was before. If you remember, the old version had those little fiddly buttons on the right that were too small, and it was really easy to get things in the wrong place. Well, now it's really easy to get things in the right place. However, if by any chance you grab something by mistake and drag it down here and you didn't mean to, you've got a button up here called Undo Last Action, and it puts it back where it was. It was DPDLs I moved. Watch, I'll move it down to second from the bottom, Undo Last Action, and it moves it back to where it was. And you can move these all over the place. This is actually rather neat, this feature. To make all sorts of changes and then decide to yourself that you've made a complete COD of it and you're not happy with it. And then there's a button called Undo All Actions. And it puts it back to where we were when we first came in here. I mean, effectively what that does is basically it's the same as coming in here, moving everything around and then just pressing cancel, right? But it's quite good that you have a dedicated button for it. Now, automatic ordering also has a new feature. If I switch it on, and you might be interested in this if you're the sort of team that's got a dynamic page where there's a lot of changes take place. If I switch this on, I can apply automatic ordering. And this arrow is telling me that all these pieces of content are automatically locked to the top. You can see in here I've got an unlock option and a lock to the bottom option. I can manipulate them one at a time through here, or I can select some of them, in which case I could control them through this bulk actions button, which allows me to control more than one. If I click on this box here, I've selected all of them, and now I can control all of them from bulk action. So I can bulk mirror them, bulk duplicate, bulk move, bulk lock to the top or lock to the bottom, or bulk unlock, or even bulk delete. Be careful with that one, folks. But that's actually rather useful as well. So what you could do is say, let's just say you decide to turn on automatic ordering. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock them all. That's them all unlocked. You can see that the arrows have disappeared because none of these are locked now, but automatic ordering is on. So let's say there's one in here called page title. There it is. Well, the page title should automatically be at the top. So I'm going to select that one and say lock the top. And it jumps page title up to the top and it locks it in place. And I want my full width feature section, here it is, not very originally named, just the initials. I want that locked to the top as well. So I've now locked those two in place. And the rest are now subject to automatic ordering, alphabetical A to Z. You can see in the drop down here, it's the same options as before. Last updated, newest and oldest, published date, newest and oldest. Now let's say this isn't, you want some of these locked to the bottom. I'm going to pick the inactive ones because they're going to get deleted. But let's say I want my my discovery master locked to the bottom and my my right hand side discovery, that's the supplement. This one, UOS discovery title image text, I want that one locked to the bottom as well. So I come in here, select the ones I want locked to the bottom. This time I'm going to go to bulk actions and the bulk lock to the bottom. Okay, the inactive ones don't really matter because when somebody comes along and runs a purge, they're going to disappear. But you can see I've now got this one here, discovery image text and discovery master, they're locked to the bottom. And if I wanted to make things really clear, the three at the bottom are the ones that are waiting to be deleted. Those are the ones that are actually going to appear if I preview the page. I like this feature. I think this is pretty good. They've extended it, made it easier to use. In some ways it seems more functional than the old version was. Hopefully you agree with that. Okay. Now I'm going to go into a piece of content now, which one I'm going to pick here. full width features section. Come in here, and you can see inside they're just pieces of content. They look more or less as pieces of content have always looked. There's a couple of differences in here. The toolbar here looks different, but it has all the same features. They may not all be quite in the same place. Some of them are on menus now, but everything is by and large pretty similar to what it was before. You were quite happy with that. Media library selection works a little bit differently. It just looks a bit different really. If you want to select media, this is the first time it's going to take you into the media library. And once the egg timer goes away, you'll see the media library. And there we go. You can see more of it in a minute. Looks a lot different. Functionality hasn't changed at all. Yep, so by and large, this is exactly what you expected before. URLs, again, there's always the two in the newer templates. You can go and add a section link, pick which section you want to, if you want to do an internal link, or you can cut and paste in an external URL in there to hit any page on the World Wide Web. So I'm just running through my checklist here to make sure I've covered most of the stuff I wanted to cover in here for you. I'm going to go back to hang on a second, just cancel out this at the bottom. Come back here. Now you might have noticed here that there's a status that you aren't familiar with. It's called draft. Okay, when I edit a section here and I make my changes, when it's time to change them down at the bottom, you actually have to click that button and say save and approve. Clicking this button changes it to pending. As well, you hit that one there, it changes it to pending. You have to actually hit the drop down and hit that to approve it. But there's also this save as draft option. Okay, so what save as draft does is it is similar to pending, but there's one crucial difference. Anything that's saved as draft doesn't get added to the approval list. So when you go to the approved content over here, something that's draft won't appear in that, but something that's pending will. I'm going to play around with this bus card here and come in here, short for business card, and I'll save its changes. It's currently inactive. I'm going to save it as draft, get the message at the bottom, back to the site structure. There it is now sitting at draft. And if I come in here and just press the button, hit save changes, that in effect is the pending option now for your there. You'll be able to see it, bus card is now pending. Then if I want to actually approve it, I come in here, hit the drop arrow, go to save and approve, and bingo, I've lost it. There it is. It's now approved, and it will go live when the process runs this afternoon or tomorrow morning, depending on what time of day you did it at. So, pretty good as far as content is concerned. I'm trying to think what else I haven't showed you here. You can still preview from inside content. I'm going to go to a different page for this because this page has been messed around with a little bit as part of the demonstration today. But if I come into this SharePoint page here, you can still go into the content itself. There's a preview option in there. You should see the preview pop up in a second. Oh hum. Got to twiddle my thumbs, whistle, look out the window. Well, I would look out the window if there was a window in here. That seems to be very, very slow indeed, doesn't it? That's interesting. I might have to go back to the web team on that one. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, so I'm going to back out of that. And in fact, I'm going to reload the page completely. And I'm just going to go and preview it from up here. It's the SharePoint page there. You can preview it from here. There it is, their preview section. Waiting for it to preview. Waiting for it to preview. Did I say that I was waiting for it to preview? Yep. Okay. Well, there seems to be a bit of a problem with the previews today. I know some of the web team are watching this, but perhaps it needs some have a look at that. This was certainly working perfectly yesterday when we were rehearsing this. But preview doesn't seem to be loading up today. So the previous problem that we saw in the piece of content that we're seeing here seems to be the same one. So I'm going to back out of that. Okay, so sorry about that, folks. Not much to be I can do about it. I seem to be somewhat hostage to fortune here. Okay, right, so I'm going to move on from content. I'm taking a note of the issue that we encountered there, and what I'm going to talk about now is the media library. So if I come up to the site structure up at the top, if I go over here and look in content, this is where the media library lives. So I'll click into here. Okay. The media library always takes a little while to load. Here it is. Okay, now this looks different from what it used to look like, but it may look different, but functionally it's actually pretty much exactly the same. Categories are here. Categories are here, and if I open up the plus sign here, come down and have a look at these are the ones I'm allowed into. I can tell from the icon here. These are like training ones down here. So got a whole pile of stuff I can look at here, and there's my 1600 by 600 pixel images. And if I go in here, there you can see all my banners loaded up. Now, I'm just going to switch over to the T4 help over here. As you should know, if you're using T4, if you're going to use something like any of the templates, in this case the banner template. Oh, that picture's out of date. It seems to be a sports centre sitting there now, but I'm going to go in here, and in the help it tells me that the banner has to be 1600 by 600 pixels. So when you are using the media library in here, it is good practice to make sure that you have the pixel size on the end of the image, and you also use it in the category as well. You don't have to do it exactly the way I've got it done here, but this helps keep things organized. And when you hand over T4 maintenance to somebody else somewhere down the line, they'll be able to tell which pictures for what template. But other than that, media library, pretty much similar to what it was before. If I want to add media, I'll click up here and go and find a file. And if I've got a file over here for you, I can just drag and drop it in to the right place, and bear with me for a minute while I sort that out. Yeah, mostly the media library is largely what it was before. I haven't really encountered anything in it which is a problem. Probably hear my mouse clicking as I go to locate my particular image here, which I wanted to have. Here we go. Now you won't be able to see this from on the offsite, but if I'm going to pull one across, let's go for this one here. You'll see the color changed as I drag that over. You probably can't see that because of the way OBS works, but I'm going to drop that on there and it loads it up. You know, so drag and drop works fine. Didn't want to drag and drop, you can hit that button and you can go and find it. You won't be able to see the window that just came up, it's just a normal navigation window. But you can drag and drop them in there, pretty good, and you just fill in the rest of the details. It's exactly the same as it was before. Exactly the same. Cancel. So, what else to tell about the media library? Now, there's a search facility up here, and the web team were telling me yesterday that there's a known issue with this search facility. It's not that much useful when you've only got that many images in your library, but you could have lots. And this is supposed to be able to search for the images in the library, and apparently it's not working consistently at the minute. The web team is aware of this and they're working on a solution. So if you're in there and you try to use search and it doesn't find something which actually is there, it's not you, it's them, or rather the web team are going to fix it for you. Okay, you've got options over here as well where you can just change the lookout, the look and feel, what it looks like. I personally prefer it listed like that, but it's up to you how you want to do it. Okay, categories over here. You can actually expand that to fill the screen now. Not sure that's all that useful, to be absolutely honest, but by and large it works as it did before. You can hide the entire categories pane there as well. You see that there? Quite like that too, if you want more space to work with. Yep. Okay, so media library, largely the same as it was before. Okay, so that's all I've got to say about the media library for now, folks. Next thing I'm going to take you through on is a quick run through on creating a new page from scratch. So I'll just come up here to the top of the site structure. Okay, so I'm going to create a new page under IT training courses here. Come along to Actions and hit Create Section. And we're going to call it T4 version 8 webinar. Never won any prizes for being original with my names, for examples. I'm not going to put that to pending status just now. Everything else can stay the same. Save that. If you're an experienced T4 user, you're sitting there going, I knew exactly how to do that. Well, that's because it hasn't changed very much. And you can see it sitting here. It's orange because it's at pending status. If I want to add content, I can either go into the section or I can do it from here, create content. And I think to myself, well, what would I like to start with? I'd like to start with a page title. Well, the easy way to find that is to go to Filter. By the time I enter page, it's found it. Page title, just in case you're wondering why it discovers that one, it's got page in the description. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to call it T4 version 8 webinar. And that's actually something something that I can leave blank there. I'm going to call that the title there. Page title up there to call out the name of the piece of content. I'm not going to bother with a superscript or an intro text. I'm going to stick with the color primary picker. The color picker is the primary blue. And again, keep in mind, folks, that when you hit this button, it puts it to pending. You have to hit that button to put it to approved. So I'm going to put it, just hit that one, save changes, and it will come back here as pending. Okay, so what else do I want to add in here? Well, I'm going to come up here to the Create Content button, and I'm going to use left and right hand side templates here. It's still filtering, so if I take the filter off, I want a master template here, and the one I want is this master LHS and RHS master here. So I click on that, and I'll just give it a name. Okay. LHS and RHS Naster. Okay, I don't like that. Okay, so because I'm a pedant, I'm going to change that. And I'm just going to say heading, here to, oops, not here to see me typing. In fact, I'm going to leave that out altogether. I'm just going to leave that blank. So come down here and save that as well. And then we've got our master. Going to create another piece of content. This time I'm going to go for left hand side. So LHS, filter that, left hand side areas of interest, pick that. LHS area, just call it that. And let's come down here, go for, oops, main title, oops, and area title. Oh dear, John. Terrible typing. And area summary down here. I'm going to do that again. It's another issue there. I'll get one of these right. And pick an image. Okay, so what's the size of the image for those ones? Well, you go and check the help, wouldn't you? You know, it's a left-hand size area of interest. There we go. So if I have a look in here, what's my pixel size? 600 by 300. Okay, so select media. It goes away. It thinks about it. And then we're all used to the media library going away and thinking about it. So come down here, 600 by 300s. Come in here, not got much in here. I'm going to pick this one called coins. And this is something I didn't show you earlier on. When you actually pick something in the media library in here, 600, 300s, the way I've been doing it is to click on the image and it shows you the cropped versions, which you're not supposed to use anymore. That's the version you use, the one at the top. And you just click on the link and it adds it in. Okay. You can do URLs behind it as well. You can position left or right. Save the changes. And I've got my left-hand side area of interest. So I'm going to go back to the site structure on my T4 page. You'll see it sitting down here at the bottom, and I'm going to preview that. Okay. I think I've actually just solved that problem. Reload the page here. Okay, sorry about this, folks. Preview the section. Well, it looks a bit different this time, doesn't it? It's thinking about it. There we go. So there's the preview. Anyone from the web team who's watching, that problem was at this end on this computer. It's nothing to do with T4. Problem solved. So apologies for that, folks. You can see, well, it's a bit rubbish, the page, but just give you an idea of what it's going to be like. So I'm going to come in here and add a little bit more in here, create another piece of content, and this time I'm going to go for a right-hand side. I'm loving this filter button, it's great. Don't exactly have a lot of templates in the training system here for the right-hand side, but I'm going to right-hand side discovery fact, RHS, just call it disk. And what we're going to do here, yes, that's right. Need that off just now. T4 version 8 is fantastic. Yep. So if anyone's the web team are watching, just notice that I'm really pushing the boat out on trying to sell a product to the guys out there watching this. Box color primarily blue, we don't have to worry about that box at the bottom. I'm going to save a change. I'm going to actually approve this one this time. Yeah, so there we go. Now I've still got the page over here. There, I should be able to refresh that and see my change. The right hand side should appear in here. Ah, right, okay, there's that old problem I've seen in the training before. That's actually nothing to do with version 8. That's a little issue that we see sometimes with that particular template. So there we go, folks. Oops, there we go. It's pretty much the same as what it was before when it comes to creating your pages. If you're a competent T4 user, and if I trained you, you should be. If you're a competent T4 user and you've got a reasonable amount of practice with T4, you're not going to find it particularly difficult to change to version 8. Okay, so a quick recap. T4 version 8, the interface has changed, but the changes are largely cosmetic and to do with minor navigational changes. There's a few names here and there that have changed, and there's a few features which have expanded. The most significant ones probably the lock to the bottom, lock to the top, and the way automatic ordering and the bulk updates to that operate that I showed you earlier. As far as section management and content management are concerned, the day-to-day work that you do maintaining your T4 pages, these are largely unchanged, and you should be able to transition to the new version without any real difficulty. The media library, it looks different, but the functionality is mostly the same. Just remember to put your pixel sizes on the names of the folders and the names of the images. And as far as creating new pages are concerned, again, it's largely pretty similar to what we had before. As I said at the start, there are no new major features in T4 yet. There may be in the future. We don't know what they could be. We're not prepared to talk about it in any depth because it hasn't been evaluated yet. And we don't want to raise people's expectations and then decide after testing that we didn't want to implement something. But if there is going to be major new features, you will be advised. Okay, so last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to move over to the Q&A. So hopefully you can all see the Q&A screen on the page, and my moderator, I take it, has been asking questions. So we've got a question here. Will the process to log on change? Well, no, it won't. I'm currently logging on to this version of T4 in a different way because this is a version of T4 that exists for training purposes. But my understanding is that T4 logging on will be exactly the same as it was before. You will go to the university website, put /T4 after the address and hit enter, and then you will log on. So I think we've answered that one. Any more questions? Well, how to log on to the new version? Okay. Yes, you can. Yeah, okay, that's a fair enough question. Yes, you can still log the HTML. It's in a menu option now. It's not actually on the toolbar. It's in one of the menu options. I can give you the details. I'll put an email out with a bit more about that later on. I'm hitting the wrong button here, sorry about this. Are the time slots for approved bending content the same as still existing? Now, I think somebody may have bending content, right? Are the time slots for approving pending content the same as still existing? Yes, they are. That hasn't changed. Okay. At the present time, that has not changed. I'm quite interested in this concept of bending content, right? But currently, I've got nothing on that. Can you preview the content that's sitting at draft? Yeah, fair enough question. The only difference between draft and pending is that draft doesn't appear on the approval list. You can still preview it. So you could create an entire page in draft and preview it, and none of it would appear on the approval list, and end up with somebody approving it by mistake when you weren't ready. No, preview works with pending content, and it works with draft content as well. Yep, thanks very much. Yep, we worked that one out, but that was why that was why the preview didn't work. That question, media language dependence, that one you'd be better putting it to the web team than to me. So apologies for not coming up with a satisfactory answer. I could have said I don't know, but I decided to do a posh answer instead. I'm not sure I understand that question. What is the link to the overview of T4 templates?
Support pages.
All right, the support pages, right, okay, so over here, that's what I was referring to with that. Go back into here. What is the link to the overview of T4 templates? Yeah, that link there. Well, that link there, oh, of course, I'm clicking on the wrong button. That link there, you can see it up here. It's a bit long for you to write down, but beta.www.strath.ac.uk/digital branding guidelines/T4 templates. That will take you to the right place. I'm just going to copy that there and take that edge off that. Yeah. So if you get to beta-www.strath.ac.uk, you should be able to remember that bit, folks, /digital brand guidelines. There you go, T4 templates, they're in there, and there's all the help for the templates. So the web team's put a lot of work into this. It's massively better than we had with the old templates. I mean, this isn't part of version 8, we've had this for a while, but it's really useful, particularly for new users. And I always encourage all new users to use this when they're getting used to the new templates. Okay, back in here. I don't think we've got any more questions. So that's it, folks. It's taken rather less time than we had anticipated, and hopefully you found this a productive use of your time this morning coming along to see T4 version 8. It's pretty good. I've been using it for the best part of a year, and I much prefer it to the older version. I'm completely used to it now. Looking forward to training it, which will be starting reasonably soon. As usual, if you have technical problems, they will have to go to the web team. If you have learning issues, you can get in touch with me, john.palmer@youknowtherest. And you can get me an extension 2161 as well. I'm going to cut over here. Now we do have an evaluation survey. It's in Qualtrics. We'll get the sign up for today's event and we shall email out the link to you. We'd certainly be interested in getting feedback on both T4 version 8, how the webinar went this morning, and indeed just the whole concept of delivering an event like this with a live stream from YouTube. Hopefully you haven't had any technical problems today, but we'd certainly be interested in feedback on that as well. Okay, so I don't really have anything else to add to this, and hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully it's been reasonably entertaining. And just to let you know that PMO Online will be back with more webinars before Christmas and in the new year. That will be concerning the cybersecurity program, and hopefully you'll find them useful too. So I don't have anything else to tell you today, folks. Thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye.